Okay, welcome back. This is Mr. Hassan's Maths channel. I'm now answering question number 11 from the October-November 2022 IGCSE Cambridge 0580 syllabus. This is paper 2, variant 2, and the question here is about graphs, and we're given the graph of y equals x minus 3, brackets x plus b, bracket x plus 2, and we're told that this graph intersects the y-axis at negative 30, and we need to find the value of b. Okay, so it doesn't matter what type of graph it is, whether it's a straight line graph, whether it's a quadratic, a cubic, as this is, because you're going to have x times x times x cubed, whether it's a reciprocal graph, exponential graph, whatever type of graph it is, if they told us that it intersects the y-axis at negative 30, well, what we should know is on the y-axis, the value of x is 0. Okay. So you have the y-axis and the x-axis. Everywhere along this line, x is 0. And everywhere along this line, y is 0. Everywhere along the y-axis, x is 0. Everywhere along the x-axis, y is 0. So if we know that it intersects the y-axis at negative 30, then we know that we've got to replace x with 0, and what comes out for y would be negative 30. So if I replace the y with negative 30 and the x with 0, this is going to be 0 minus 3, which is minus 3, times 0 plus b, which is b, times 0 plus 2, which is 2. All right, so you end up with negative 30 equals negative 6b. So b is going to be negative 30 over negative 6, which is equal to positive 5. So that's how you can work out the value of b. And the next part of the graph, it's only worth 1 mark. It's pretty simple. You can just write down the answer as it says write down by looking at the answers that we have up there, if you have some understanding. But I'm going to explain why. Right? Of course, you don't have to do this in the exam, I'm going to show you, but just so that the students understand why the answer is what it is. So basically, when x is greater than 0, the graph crosses the x-axis once. So as I said just now, it crosses the x-axis when y equals 0. So it crosses the y-axis when x equals 0, and it crosses the x-axis when y equals 0. So when we put y equals 0, we have x minus 3 times x, we know b is 5 now, so x plus 5 times x plus 2, and this is going to equal 0. Now this equation has 3 solutions. We have the 0 product property. We have things multiplied together that give us 0. That means one of them must be 0. So either x minus 3 is 0, in which case x will be 3, or x plus 5 is 0, in which case x will be negative 5, or x plus 2 is 0, in which case x equals negative 2. So we can see when x equals 3 is the positive value of x where the graph crosses the x-axis. So this is going to be, the answer here is going to be 3, 0. These other 2 points are negative values of x, where it crosses the x-axis. So if we were to draw this graph, okay, it would be a cubic curve which can either look like this, or it could look like this. Now, because the x cubed would be positive, if you expanded this, you have x times x times x, positive x cubed. It's going to look like this graph here. This is where it would be negative x cubed. So when you have a positive x cubed, it looks up and up. Negative x cubed is down and down. So it's going to look something like this. I mean, it says we don't have to sketch it. I'm just giving you an idea, some background to the answer. So we know that it crosses the x-axis at negative 5, negative 2, and positive 3. Okay, so let me just give you an idea of what it looks like from here. So negative 5, it's up and up. So it's going to go negative 5 and negative 2 and 3. Something like that, right? So that would be negative 5, that would be negative 2, and that would be the 3. So we want to find when x is greater than 0, where does it cross the x-axis? So when x is greater than 0, it's along here. So it crosses at 3 as we just determined. Okay, so that's just a bit of a background to the answer. Okay, so that completes this question number 11. Other questions from this particular paper can be found by looking at or clicking on the playlist link, which will come up here for this paper. Other questions about graphs and functions you can find by clicking on the playlist link over here. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the link here, and you can watch a video clicking on the link up here, which takes you or tells you or shows you how to use my channel to find what you're looking for. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.